Episode 46 of the Thunder Underground podcast is here. My name's Trent, and I'm joined by Jason.
What's going on?
Same old thing, recording a podcast with you, bringing the metal to the children, as Zach Wild would say.
That's right. That's what we got to do.
Yes. We've got all kinds of stuff on this episode, the main thing being Jamie Welch. This is our first ever part 2 with someone. It's kind of funny that a guy we met and interviewed from a band on the road is the first person we're having back over one of our friends that we had on our early episodes, right?
That's right. That's right.
The easy route, right?
Yeah, I know. And we've talked about it so much. We should have so-and-so. We should get our buddy this and our buddy this guy. And we just never did. But it just worked out like this, and it's awesome.
Yeah, and it's a testament to him that we just asked if he'd like to do a follow-up, and he said definitely. We had him on about almost 3 months ago, mid-December. He was in the process of, he had already announced that he was leaving the band Framing the Red, but he still had a couple months left. And he talked, in that one, he went a little into his background and stuff about the band. But this one, we get more into what he's doing now, and he talks a little bit more about why he left the band. And he's not shy about it.
Not at all.
Not at all. So if you're a Framing the Red fan, this is something you want to hear.
That's right.
Before we get into all that, we're going to talk about Anthrax's new album. We're going to talk about Kerry King. And then we're going to play some music. And we're going to do the music right now. This is a band out of Omaha, Nebraska called 3D In Your Face. And the song is called In Your Face.
You come to see
In Your Face from 3D In Your Face out of Omaha, Nebraska. And there's really no denying what these guys are going for, which is melodic party 80s, early 90s rock. And they pretty much nail it, I believe.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah, great guitar. This song has this great guitar groove. The vocals are, it has that Stephen Pearcy kind of snarl at times, but it's also got that kind of, that higher Vince Neilish kind of, classic 80s sound as well. And, it's just a cool song. The gang vocals, and it's like the type of song that you could hear opening a set or closing a set. And if you're seeing this band live for the first time and you'd never heard the song, you could be screaming along to the chorus by the end of the song,
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, we got turned on to these guys not too long ago, and, in hearing their album, you can tell, like, In Your Face is, nasty, Anthem, I like what you said about Snarl, but they've got there's some fun, kind of catchy, open up and say ah parts.
Yeah.
In some of their songs. I mean, they're fun, they're catchy, but they can also get mean. If you love anything to do with, 80s hair bands, glam bands, whatever you want to call them, Sunset Strip type kind of stuff, there's no fucking way that you will not like these guys. And I think they're playing Rocklahoma, right?
Yeah, I think that's why we looked into them.
Yeah, we just kind of were looking up names, and, we saw what these guys were about. And, us, we love our 80s hair metal, so we latched onto this with the quickness.
Yeah, their album, it's Midnight Devils, is that right? And it's, the whole thing's on Spotify and Reverb Nation, where you can check it out. Like you said, there's a song on there called Generation Hurt that's got a real open up and say
Dirt.
Oh, Dirt. Yeah, sorry.
That's okay. That's why I'm here. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. That has a real, open up and say off vibe to it. There's a ballad on there that has the, the piano synth kind of sound like your Cinderella or Kicks, It's just, it incorporates it all. And like we said, they do it real well. And I noticed they play in Omaha almost every Friday. So if you're in that area of the country, get over there and check them out. I can't imagine that they're not a fun live band. And they've got a YouTube video for Forbidden City, it looked like. And hit them up on Facebook and Reverb Nation, Spotify, whatever it is you do. And we will check them out when they hit Rocklahoma, and hopefully maybe we can talk to one of these guys too.
Hell yes. That's what I'm hoping for anyways.
Yeah. Yeah, they sent us, when they sent us the track, they mentioned, we'll see it at Rocklahoma, so we'll try to set that up. And that's not for about 2.5 months, but be on the lookout.
Yeah, hopefully. You never know.
Well, earlier I mentioned Kerry King, and anyone that follows metal knows that at least once every couple months you're going to get some crazy story from Kerry King, probably.
Yeah.
Maybe not every 2 months, but at least a few times a year. And the thing I love about Kerry King is that, he's one of those guys like Scotty Ian or Rob Flynn, where you don't really have to wonder what they're thinking. And, whether I agree or not, it's cool. But this time he said something that I didn't particularly agree with, which was, of course, this past week in an interview. There's always the clickbait things, which you got to really look into it to make sure what's being in that headline is represented right. But the headline was something about, he says Iron Maiden lives in the past, and there's another headline about Metallica living off their past success.
Yeah, it's funny you say clickbait, because this is something I scrolled through and I saw it and I'm like, here he goes again. Then I scrolled back, I'm like, I think I will read this.
Right. Well, the story I read, it starts off where he mentions that to an extent Slayer does too.
Yeah.
Okay. But then he goes on, the best part is he goes on to claim that Iron Maiden's first 3 albums were great, and that's what they're living off of. And since then, they've only put out good stuff, not great stuff, like Slayer has with Repentless. So basically what he just said is that Repentless is better than Seventh Son of a Seventh Son. Repentless is better than Power Slave. Repentless is better than What am I forgetting in between there? Anyway, you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And even further on, like we talked on our last episode, Book of Souls or Dance of Death, whatever. Don't get me wrong, Repentless is a great album. It was way better than I imagined it or expected it to be. But it is not anywhere near as good as Seventh Son of a Seventh Son.
Yeah, well...
And that's not where I'm really going with this, but I just had to point that out to begin with.
Well, exactly, and it's funny that he said, in that, he said, yeah, sure, people are still showing up because they want to see us play Rain and Blood and Season of the Abyss or whatever. But they also want to hear, Implode and Bloodline or whatever. I don't know. Insert newer Slayer song here. Kind of making it sound like that's not what Iron Maiden fans are showing up for or whatever. And I'm like, well, I just saw them at the Book of Souls tour and it was packed and people went nuts for new songs. So I don't know,
Right.
Maybe I'm the dickhead here.
No.
But at the same time, this is what Kerry King does. He kind of goes the Dave Mustaine route when they've got new product and a new tour.
Right. You think he says stuff on purpose?
Says stuff just to kind of drum up, some publicity. And I think that's what it is. And I think Iron Maiden, if anybody in Iron Maiden even saw it, which they probably didn't because they're too busy, being fucking Iron Maiden and, slaying fans and raking in the cash, they probably saw it and said, that's cute. I remember my first beer.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the same with Metallica. So, I'm sure they don't care. But it's just kind of like, I don't know.
But he picked the two weirdest bands to say that about. Because it's the two bands that fill up arenas, that are headlining arenas, headlining festivals across the world. Outside of America, they're playing to 50, 80,000 people at a show.
Yeah,
Inside America, they could fill up, an arena at the drop of the hat. Where Slayer, draws a respectable crowd for a band of their type.
Yeah.
But it's like 1,000 people, or something compared to 20,000 people. And that's where it really lost me. I'm like, if you think that people are showing up because of Repentless or, Christ Illusion or something, you're insane. Like, if there's 1,000 people at your show, there might be 50 of them that are rabid and hoping that half the set's new songs.
Yeah.
But the other 950 are there because of Rain and Blood and South of Heaven and Seasons of the Abyss. And, I mean, it's the same way for Maiden or Metallica, too, but they pack their show with new songs. I mean, Metallica's set has...
Well, and Maiden and Metallica's not talking that shit.
Right.
And here's the thing. It's like, yeah, we're all fucking living on our past. I mean, Metallica wouldn't have gotten to an arena if it wasn't for the past 30 years.
Right.
Iron Maiden, same deal. Slayer, they wouldn't be where they're at, which is a great place to be. They wouldn't be where they're at without all the work that they've put up. So it's just like, I don't know.
Well, yeah, he's doing the exact same thing that he's claiming they're doing, because if Slayer debuted today and Repentless was their first album, there'd be 112 people at their show.
Exactly. Well, no, you're
because
exactly right.
Not because it's a bad album, but because no one would know who the fuck they are. They would be Havoc or Battlecross.
Yeah.
Exactly. Two bands that we love.
Yeah.
But if they headline in place, there's going to be 100 or 200 people there if they're lucky.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that mainstream appeal yet.
Yeah.
Which, hopefully it gets there, but that's exactly where Slayer would be if it wasn't for 1985 through 1991.
Exactly. Well, if Havoc and Battlecross were somewhere, we would fucking be there for sure.
Well, exactly. We'd be one of those 100 to 200 people.
That's right.
Which, by the way, we saw yesterday that Battlecross is coming to Oklahoma City on April 21st.
Yep.
And we plan to be there.
Damn right.
A headline gig, and they're embarking on a tour opening for Soulfly through April and May and I think early June. And they're doing 3 or 4 headline dates leading up to the tour. So we're lucky enough to get one close to us.
That's right. Definitely worth the hour and a half drive.
Yeah. Battlecross is a band you should check out if you're not familiar with them and you love thrash like Slayer.
Yeah.
Or any modern thrash or metal. These guys are legit. 3 albums. And we had the singer Kyle on our podcast months back. So
That's
go look
right.
that one up. I think it was like episode 17 or 19. So anyway, yeah. I don't fault Kerry King for saying it, but it's just kind of dumb in a way, even though I think it's kind of what you said. I think he says it more just to get the headlines, to let, hey, people, remember we got Repentless out, go buy it.
yeah.
Which maybe that's smart,
It's like, I know Megadeth and Anthrax have released albums, but don't forget about us.
Right.
So I think that might be what it is. But at the same time, we love Slayer.
Right.
And Repentless is a great album.
Right.
So let's not get that mixed up.
Well, you mentioned Anthrax has a new album. This album came out week before last, For All Kings.
That's right.
Brand new, 12 new tracks from Anthrax. And as we've spoke many times in the past 40-some episodes, Anthrax is one of both of our favorite bands.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's stuff that you like, and then there's stuff that I like. But Anthrax is one of those bands we both can agree on and are dorks over.
Right. And have been since, the late 80s.
Oh, yeah.
And don't make any mistake, through the John Bush years, it was just as much, if not more.
Yes.
People that don't know me, I will let you know right now that I am a bigger fan of the John Bush era than I am the Joey Belladonna era. And that's no knock on Belladonna. I love him. I love everything they did in the 80s and the last 2 albums. But John Bush, to me, is the perfect heavy metal frontman. He encompasses everything. Anyway, another slight tangent, but hey, we're talking about Anthrax, so it's welcome.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Right. So, For All Kings, we've talked about before, Evil Twin and Breathing Lightning. But we'll talk about them again because, we can't expect that half, 3/4 of these people that are listening right now listened last time.
Yeah.
So just right off the bat, I'm going to make a proclamation. This is better than worship music.
Really?
This is better than Dystopia. And hell, it's better than Repentless.
What?
It's better than Death Magnetic. Anthrax is now officially the best Big Four band. There you go.
Holy shit. Well, I wouldn't go. Well, you're right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, what do you think for real up against Dystopia? You like it better than Dystopia?
Yes. I like Dystopia a lot, but I don't know. I wouldn't.
See, for
I don't
me,
know how to explain
I don't know.
it.
For me, these two are neck and neck right now because maybe it's just the newness, and 2 of my favorite bands have 2 new albums, and it's fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that kind of deal. I'm not sure, but to me, and it's like Anthrax is so fucking epic. But I don't want to discount the new Megadeth because it's epic too. I mean, I don't know. I can't really speak on that. For me, they're neck and neck. They really are. As far as, but you put up, I don't know, as far as the other stuff. But anyways, I mean, these guys just, they just don't disappoint. You thought, when worship music came out, you thought, fuck, come on, and there's no way that they can top that.
Right.
And they kind of did,
See, I think that goes way back. I always thought every album, this is the greatest thing they've ever done. Even like when Volume 8 came out, I thought that for a minute.
Yeah.
Even though looking back, obviously, the other ones, there's other stuff that's better. But
Yeah.
It's one of those things that every time they put out an album, I think I'm such a big fan that I instantly think I can't believe this is this good.
Yeah.
And, I'm sure it's just the fanboy in me talking, but they haven't ever had anything bad. And I know there's a lot of people that would disagree with that statement.
Yeah.
And, I think We've Come For You All is as good as anything they ever did.
Oh, I agree.
And that's
that is an epic album that
it's like the least known John Bush album, because it was
just not enough people heard.
Right.
Really.
And so when worship music came out, I was still butthurt over the fact that Bush was gone. But, regarding the circumstances that he didn't want to do it anyway, and Belladonna, came back, which is what, after the whole Dan Nelson debacle.
Yeah.
And, it was really the only true option for...
True. And John Bush, he said, this is what should happen.
Right.
They should get Belladonna back. This is what they should be doing. And I think that's kind of where you're going. And that's when we both kind of got on board. Because I was like you, when I heard Belladonna was back, I was just like, come on, get John Bush,
Yeah. Because you still didn't know everything, and you always kind of thought they kind of did John Bush shitty whenever they first reunited with Belladonna in like 2004 or 5, whenever that was. I think 2005. But, he came back later to fulfill the dates after they kicked out Dan Nelson. Mm-hmm. And once, that happened, I guess they're back on, good terms for the most part. Then he said he didn't want to commit to it full time.
Yeah.
And he was happy doing Armored Saint because, they would, do a tour and then they had big gaps of time off, where with Anthrax, it's full bore.
Yeah.
In a tour cycle for a couple years,
Yep, and he was making wheelbarrows full of money, being the Burger King spokesman, so he he didn't need all that.
And he's got young kids, he wanted to stay at home, all that. So my fanboyishness of John Bush, I let it up a little, and I was very, I'm glad Joey Belladonna was back for worship music instead of Dan Nelson.
Yeah.
And then they released it, and I was blown away.
Exactly. I wasn't on board till the minute I heard worship music and the music kick in and his voice kicked in, and I was like, okay.
And then we saw him live on that tour in Wichita, and that solidified everything that wasn't already solidified.
Yeah.
So we can just go into that right now. Joey Belladonna, I should have looked up how old he is now. He's probably mid-50s, right?
Oh, I don't know.
Regardless, he sounds better than ever.
Yeah, he does. He really does.
He doesn't sound like he's lost anything. He doesn't sound like he's compensating for anything he's lost. Like some of the guys do when they get older and have that kind of voice.
Yeah.
He's sounds as good as he did 30 years ago, which is crazy.
And this is not a fucking like a studio thing. We've seen him live.
Yeah.
A few times, and he just kills it.
Yeah, it's just, you can't say enough about how good he is live and on record. And this album, of course, is no exception. And, there's even, we talked about Breathing Lightning before, and I thought the song, like his voice on that was even more melodic than normal. Even the whole song itself is probably the most melodic thing they've ever done. More so than, Safe Home or Nothing or In the End. Any of those kind of things.
So. Yeah.
And it's, to me, it ultimately stands out by itself because of that reason, because it's so different. It's not your normal Anthrax. And it's just an amazingly epic song with just, it almost leans hard rock at times, but it's still really heavy.
Yeah.
And it's just an unbelievable song.
It's like uplifting.
Yeah.
And
the lyrics, and it's lyrically, it's great.
Yeah.
Everything about it's great. But I mean, where do you begin from there? I mean, you just starting with the first track. Oh,
you gotta believe. I mean, you gotta believe that you gotta believe is badass. Okay? I mean, it just is. I really like Blood Eagle Wings. For All Kings, the title track is badass. I mean, I don't know. It's just like, where do you start? Where do you end? I mean, It's all just...
No, every single song is good.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like I was, up against worship music. I'm like, well, I don't know. They might have a few clams now. They don't have anything.
Right.
Anything that's bad or that sucks. It's insane.
And you mentioned Blood Eagle Wings. But the first time I heard that instantly jumped out at me as sounding like a John Bush era song.
Yeah. Just
everything about it. The slower part, even into the heavier part.
Yeah.
You can totally hear his voice on that thing. I saw some things like, some of the press leading up to it where Scott Ian was saying this is the heaviest thing we've ever done or something like that. Where I don't really hear that. Yeah. Except 2 or 3 songs, there's some really heavy parts.
Yeah.
But to me, it just sounds like Anthrax.
Yeah.
And I don't hear it and think, holy shit, this is heavier than normal. But there's the thing that I like better. Worship music is real, I don't know how to word this. Like, it's real uniform throughout the whole thing for the most part.
Yeah.
Whereas this album has a lot of different things going on. They, not saying it's, spastic or anything. It doesn't fit together. It all fits together, but it's a lot more broadness and to it than worship music had, I think.
I get that. There's a lot to take in.
Yeah.
There really is. You might need a couple listens.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that.
You get the different styles of, stuff they've done throughout their career, like I said with Blood Eagle Wings, like the song Zero Tolerance, the last song.
Yeah.
Just that riff and the way he's singing it, and even the lyrics are like, remind me of late 80s Anthrax.
Yeah.
I think, like, there's one of the lyrics after it, someone, one of them yells, either probably Scott or Frank yells, what are you going to fucking do about it? Or fuck you, or something like that. So it has that real kind of late 80s Anthrax vibe. And, lyrically, that song's awesome because it's pretty much everything I believe. And that's the one where, I'm talking about.
Politicians and all that.
Yeah, it's like zero tolerance for religious hate and politicians left and right and the police state. And,
that's right.
All this. Anyway.
See, not only musically, but we're on their level lyrically.
Right.
Or they're on ours. Or what is it? I don't know.
Defend Avenge is another badass song. That might be my favorite one besides, I don't know. I don't know if Breathing Lightning is my favorite one, but it's the one that jumps out to me the most.
You're digging on it the most right now.
Yeah. And that second song, Monster at the End.
Yeah.
Evil Twin, the single. Just, what do you say other than sitting here gushing about it?
Yeah, I know. I mean, we kind of end up doing this a lot, and it sounds like we like everything, but I don't know.
It's because we choose to talk about stuff we like.
Yeah, true.
Maybe we should start saying, hey, let's talk about this, and it's something we know we're not going to like, so we sound like we have a little bit of diversity here.
Yeah. Like how much we hate the Scorpions. Or no, that's just me. What?
Right.
Anyways.
You said it there. It's recorded now.
I don't hate them. Okay? I don't hate them.
Yeah. Maybe you'll like them after you see them live.
I hope. And tangent number 4 has happened.
Well, you got anything else you want to throw in about Anthrax?
Just that if you're on the fence or you don't know or you haven't heard this yet, go buy it. It'll blow your butthole out. Okay, for real.
And you said I hadn't watched it yet.
Yes.
The Blood Eagle Wings.
I just watched the video for Blood Eagle Wings. That's a crazy video. I don't want to give too much of it away, but it's kind of gory. So, there's that.
Right. Oh, the other thing I thought about too is this album. I mean, it's been this way forever. Like with Charlie and Frank. They always stand out above other bands, that rhythm section to me.
Yeah.
And this album,
yep.
There's a lot of songs where the drums, especially and the bass as well, just like pop, like really loud, and it sounds badass, I guess is the right word.
Yeah, that reminds me, the beginning of Blood Eagle Wings, is that like a distorted bass thing, solo, or is it just a guitar line? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think about that.
I'm not sure. I'll have to see them because it sounds like it could almost be bass.
Could be.
So
we know Bello's a badass.
I mean, he is. He really is.
And of course, Charlie with all the writing a lot of this stuff.
That's right.
It's a testament to how great this guy is.
Yeah, exactly.
As long as he's not getting in a fight at the soccer field.
Shit. Well, there goes our chance of ever getting one of them on the podcast.
I love him. He knows.
Way to go, ass.
I'll post a picture of my hallway with all the Charlie stuff.
Okay, good. Yeah, you need to do that to redeem yourself.
All right. So we should move along. All right. Well, if you're listening to us because you're a fan of Jamie Welch, welcome. Check us out at thethunderunderground.com. And look back into our past podcasts, like I mentioned earlier. One from several episodes ago, we had him on, talked about, the past, coming up with Framing the Red and influences and Country Band Man video and all kinds of cool stuff. We met up with him again when he rolled through town with his new gig now, which is Drowning Pool.
Yeah.
And it was cool to talk to him about all that, how that came about, and of you know, where he thinks he might be going and what, you know, he hopes to do and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he got into the Framing the Red talk about why he ended up leaving. And he wasn't, like I said, he wasn't shy about it.
No, not at all.
As you mentioned on the last time he was on, he's pretty transparent when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, definitely. He pulled no punches and told us what he thought, and even went into kind of the ins and outs of his new position with Drowning Pool. He's their stage manager, guitar and bass tech. So it's really kind of cool to see behind the scenes on how that kind of stuff works. So that was a great insight. And, again, on Framing the Red, great band. They had some great catchy songs, and they have an amazing following. So take nothing away from them, but it's, we just kind of get Jamie's story and his insight. And, hope all you guys dig it.
Yeah. And he's a great guy. If you've never met him, very personable. And
oh yeah, super nice guy. He came out and we were just like, it was like 5 minutes ago that we saw him.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. And he's like we said, he's moved on with, into this gig with Drowning Pool, and I know he's still looking to do music, because if you're a musician, that's what you ultimately want to do. And I do think that he's the type of person that, he's got a drive and he's going to make this happen.
Yeah.
And I think I mentioned on the last episode, he's the type of guy I think years from now, everybody's going to know who he is, that kind of thing.
Yeah, but I like this path because he's getting this experience, a slow build, and he's seeing behind the scenes. He's seeing on the and he's been on the stage. He's helping out. I mean, it's just all this experience and all these different roles can only help you in the future.
Right. And speaking of Drowning Pool, we had an interview with CJ Pierce, which was up this past week. So if you're a fan of Drowning Pool, please go check that out. Just like Jamie, CJ is an awesome dude, very personable. Talked to us about all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, super personable, very nice guy.
And it's the type of thing that even if you're not a Drowning Pool follower, if you're a fan of music, you'll dig it. That's how a lot of these things turn out to be. We talk about that all the time with, we listen to the Jost podcast or Eddie Trunk's podcast or Jericho, whoever, and have a guest on there that you don't really know, or you sometimes don't even like their music, but you listen to it anyway, and you get a whole new perspective on stuff, and really dig the person as a person. So.
Yeah, I mean, that's two of those that come to my mind are the singer for In This Moment.
Right.
I will not pull any punches. I cannot get into that band at all. But I heard her on a podcast, and super cool, very driven, has a lot of good points. Butcher Babies are the same way.
Yeah, their podcast with Jost, both of them separately were great.
Yeah.
And I think we're on the same page there. Don't care for their music.
Yeah. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, I don't know. It's not my thing. I can't get into it.
Right.
But, I don't know. What do we know? We're just,
We just have a podcast, not even for a living. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Speaking of, we don't have sponsors. So if you know someone who would like to sponsor the Thunder Underground podcast.
That's right.
thethunderunderground@gmail.com. That's also the email you need to send if you have a band and you want us to play one of your songs. We'll be more than happy to play it, talk about it, give you a shout out. But with all that being said, I think it's time that we get into this interview with Jamie.
How y'all been, dude?
Pretty good. How's a new gig?
Fucking great.
Yeah?
Man.
Yeah?
Dude, I love it. I'm happy now, dude. I love it.
Everyone.
It's so much, it's a world, night and day, man, from what I was doing.
Bet.
Definitely.
So what's all the stage manager gig entail?
Basically do like now I really don't have to do much. I love it. Like I have to unload the trailer, but we always, every show we have loaders over there, you know. And so I just point and say, hey, y'all take this, this, and this to this part of the stage or whatever. And then once they get the trailer unloaded, then, you know, it's me and the rest of the crew. I set up guitars and bass. That's all I do. And once I get their guitars and stuff set up, which I say that's all I do, but it's a lot too because they're so picky, man. You know, like they have everything has got a certain spot on stage where it goes. You know, every guitar is tuned a certain way. You know, and there's like nine guitars compared to where I was only doing 4.
Wow.
Of my own, you know, and but then once the show starts, I don't have to do anything until Drowning Pool starts, and then I'm just sitting side stage, dude, just waiting for something to go wrong, and then I have to run up there and fix it, which every night it does. Every night something happens, whether it's a light goes out, or a guitar's out of tune, or a cable gets hung up on the pedal board because they're so high energy, you know, they're running around constantly. So I'm just doing that, man, and then hope, you know, if all goes well, we just sit there and just watch the show. Then once they're done, you know, we go and just pack everything back up, dude, and tell the loaders where to put it back in the trailer, and I'm done. You know, but I get a free Drowning Pool show every night.
Right.
Yeah, that's not bad at all.
Yeah, dude.
So
it's
you basically
cool.
guitar teching as
Guitar,
well? Is that what you're doing?
guitar and
Okay.
bass tech. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then once I set up, because the way I am is once I finish, I go help the drum tech / monitor guy. I help him set up because it takes longer to set up the drums because, you know, Mike has such a huge drum kit. We have that riser, you know, the drum riser, we build it every day and take it down every night. You know, we carry our own riser with us, our own light show, we carry everything with us. So I'll go.
Y'all know where you go out and smoke a cigarette?
I couldn't tell you, man.
That door down there?
Yep, probably right there, man. Looks like he needs to go smoke him a cigarette and lose that other leg. Sorry.
That's all good.
But yeah, I'll go help them out, and then they do the same thing for me, you know. But I'm usually done way quicker than they are because I'm a guitar player, so I can just throw everything together, you know.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it, man. Just hanging out with Drowning Pool, man.
So you've got to watch like every minute of the show and keep your eyes on it.
Every second of the
Yeah,
show, I
yeah.
have to. Now, you know, sometimes if I know that nothing's, which I guess you never know, but most of the time, you know, it's a smooth sailing show because these guys have been doing this crap for, you know, 14 years now, you know, 15, and I'll watch the crowd, and I also have to watch and make sure no idiots jump up on stage. Like I've already had to tackle one guy already.
Really?
Yeah, dude. And our sound guy, he has to. I'm not sound guy. Our tour manager, he has to like keep people from getting on stage and stuff. Like last night, we were in where were we at? San Antonio. This moron somehow broke through security, ran around the whole side of the stage, and tried to stage dive. Well, he tried to step on a monitor to jump over this guardrail right here,
Yeah.
and he missed. Bad, failed, landed right on this thing. I know he's hurting today. But stuff like that, you know, you have to make sure. And then once whatever they tear up, you have to hurry up and throw back up on stage and stuff. And especially on songs like Tear Away and Bodies, man, people start crowd surfing, and which is cool. It's rock and roll. But on our end, we have to fix their screw ups, you know. And every time something happens, a monitor is going to come unplugged, a monitor's going to flip over, a mic stand's going to get taken out or something, you know. And then Jason, the singer, he likes to, when it's a big crowd, he likes to crowd surf, he uses a wired mic,
Okay.
which sucks because he can only go 50 feet.
Right.
And then you hope that the crowd brings him back. And there was, you know, I'm waiting on the time that it's not going to happen.
But they don't bring them back.
Yeah,
They
and
keep them.
If that happens, dude, like the whole show's probably going to be, everything's going to be knocked down. It's going to be bad. It'll be rough.
Was that during Bodies or earlier? If it's
It was
during Bodies,
Bodies.
it'd be all right.
It was
Then
Bodies,
End of
yeah.
the show, right?
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's a During Bodies. He waits to the very end to get crazy.
Yeah.
But these guys are good, man. They're live show, man. I saw them one time, a long time. I mean, it's probably 3 years ago when I first saw them with Jason. And dude, now he is such a great front man, dude. Like he's energetic. He works the crowd, man. Like it feels like this. He should have, you know, he'd been with them all along ever since Dave, the original singer, died. You know, and he's so good. He's so much better than the other two. To me, my personal opinion. You know, I think so anyway.
Were you a big fan of CJ guitar wise before
always been, dude. And I've always liked him. Well, you know, Bodies came out, and of course, every guitar player learned how to play it.
Yeah.
And then I just kind of stuck around. I've always been a Drowning Pool fan through all 4 singers. You know, I've always liked them. You know, some better than others. Jason, like I said, this Jason here is by far my favorite since the original Dave. But yeah, man, CJ is a beast at guitar playing, and he, you know, in Framing the Red, he produced our song American Made. We met CJ.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Long story with me. Well, with me and CJ, dude, we kind of go back like 2 years now because I met him in Dallas. His sister-in-law was one of our promoters. And some of the shows with them, I never thought about the last name. Well, then I start seeing all these pictures of CJ around their big-ass house. And I'm like, how do you know this guy? I was like, well, he's my brother-in-law. I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, Monica Pierce, CJ Pierce. Like, oh, shit. Never put 2 and 2 together. Well, then I was like, I want to meet this guy. She's like, yeah, well, he writes and produces and stuff for other bands. And we were about to do our second album, which still, by the way, isn't out yet. We were waiting to try to decide if we were going to go to somewhere else on, you know, producing this album, and she's like, yeah, I'll pay for him to do a song. I was like, okay, cool. Well, he came over, and I'm like, holy hell, this is CJ Pierce. And I shook his hand, and me and him instantly kind of hit it off, dude, because we're guitar players, you know. And we did the song, went to his house, and I actually got legally divorced inside of CJ's house. My ex-wife drove my divorce papers with the lawyer and my daughter. She had no clue whose house she was at. You know, I never told her. But he laughs at. We pick about that all the time, dude. Like, and I got divorced in his home, dude, in Dallas. And ever since then, man, we just, you know, we stayed close. We did the song, and that day he made me a better guitar player, showing me, opening my eyes into things I could put here and there that I would have never thought about. And that helped in writing the second album. We didn't finish the album with him. We just did that one song because we really couldn't afford it, you know. But it helped me a lot there. Well, then now, you know, I called him. I told him, you know, hey, I'm leaving Framing the Red in 2 months. If, you know a band that needs a guitar player or something, let me know. He's like, yeah, man, I know a lot of them. Just, you know, let me get back with you. And then, dude, like a week before I left Framing the Red, he called me and he's like, dude, what do you think about coming to be my guitar tech on this big tour we're about to do? Is like, dude, that'd be amazing. Well, then he starts telling me how much money I'm going to get paid, and like, I thought I was going to do it for, you know, exposure, just to hang out, dude. But no, there, you know, it's a working gig. He's paying me and everything, so it worked out, dude. And now that I'm setting up for him, and me and him jam together and play together and stuff every day, I see how he is so underrated. He actually got put in a maybe Guitar World or Guitar Player magazine this month. I can't remember which one it was, but well deserved, man. That dude, he is phenomenal. It doesn't show with their songs, you know. I mean, he solos and goes off a lot and stuff, but dude, I watch him playing around. He is a shredder, dude. He is so good. Makes me never want to play guitar again, man. Dude, like today, man, he was trying to, you know, he got some new heads. He just got endorsed by Marshall, and he's been trying to tune his heads in, and man, like, he was just wailing on it, man. Like, God, how do you do this crap, man? Yes. But, you know, he's 12 years older than I am, you know, and he's been doing this for a long time. So, yeah, I've always been a fan of CJ, you know, ever since Bodies, you know, back in, you know, 13, 14 years ago, you know, in high school.
We can't complain about getting paid to do something you love and get an experience like that.
Yeah.
Working with someone like that, you know?
We get to have all these nice venues that we're going to, and every show this tour has been great. You know, hundreds of people every show, even the Sunday and Monday shows have been great. And you know, we started in South Dakota, went all the way across the West Coast, and now we're here in Texas. Well, Oklahoma now, back to Texas tomorrow, and seeing all these nice venues, and you know, like I said, a lot of more people, and I'm personally making more contacts because I'm meeting every single one of these. That I made that a point to, once I do this, I'm going to meet every promoter and every agent that, you know, runs these places. That way, if I have any future endeavors, whatever, I can have that, you know, a leg in the door, you know. But you know, I get to see the country, dude, and we got a really nice tour bus. Our third one, we had to swap buses twice already. So this is our third one. But dude, this one's like, it's prestige, man. It's awesome. You know, great tour bus. We get fed all the time. I get paid. I'm getting to hang out with Drowning Pool, dude. You know, and now they became my family, like Framing the Red was. You know, they've taken me in. I've had to carry a couple of butt chewings, you know, for just stupid shit that I did that I didn't think about. But it's because I wasn't used to this caliber of a band. You know, like Framing the Red, we were getting bigger, but nowhere near what they do. You know, they are to a T professional. Everything is like on schedule. You know, every word of every song, like they don't mess up, man. They don't. I've not one time seen them mess up. You know, and that's because, you know, they're professional. You know, and I wasn't used to that. And now I am. You know, but it took me a good week to get back into the swing of, for one, working. You know, I didn't have to do nothing before, and two, just learning the ropes of a band at their level. You know, it's where I want to be. You know, I would be content with being where they are. You know, I would. Yeah. It'd be cool. Making a good living.
Asking him about contacts for bands, and you mentioned that to us last time we talked to you. If the opportunity came along, is this something now that you've been doing this that you'd be interested in moving along? Well, in this style of thing, or would you jump to the chance if a band came along?
If a right band came along, dude, if the right band called me that's already established, I would go. You know, but we were right before y'all text me, we were in the green room talking, and I was showing the other guys the rest of, you know, our music that Framing the Red wrote, and they were like, everyone was telling me, you know, you need to get another band. You know, we don't want to see you. You know, they're like, we want you to be our tech from here on out, but you need to be on stage. You know, you need to write music, and coming from people like that, you know. But I'm 32, man. I've been thinking, man. I don't know yet. I've got a lot of songs that I've got written, and I know I'm going to go home and write all my songs. I'm a half-ass singer, so I'm going to do all that. I can play bass, play drums, guitar, so I'm going to do it all myself and just shop it around and see if anything happens, whether, you know, somebody may buy the song or a band may want to, you know, I may find a singer. I don't know, but yes, I want to be back on stage playing other than doing this. But if I don't, I'm not going to be that mad, dude, because, I mean, I've lived my dream, dude. I've played with Motley Crue and Skinner and Hinder and whoever else, you know, everybody you could think of, we've played with them. So if that never happens, I'm not going to be, you know, that mad. I've made a lot of money, you know, doing this and had fun, and now I'm, of course, doing this with them, you know, which is another huge thing for me. So, but man, some guitar techs are making, you know, 80, 90 grand a year, you know, for some of these bigger bands. You just mentioned Iron Maiden. I can only imagine what their guitar techs make. I mean, I'm sure they're making 100, 200 grand a year teching for them, you know, and it's not that bad of a gig, you know, not at all. I mean, it's fun, but then, you know, you're not sharing your artistry. I'm helping other people do that. But I'm honored to be where I'm at right now. You know, it was definitely, whenever he called me, I was like, well, I thought he was calling me to tell me he found a band, you know, and what he did, you know, just a different aspect, you know, I guess. So, but yeah, I would like to get another band started, you know, but it's just, it'd be hard starting all over. You know, Framing the Red, I had to build it from the ground up, dude. We didn't know any contacts, no bars, no endorsers, no anything. And now I have all of those contacts and all the ones I'm making now, and I have Drowning Pool in my back pocket now, you know.
It's valuable.
Oh, yeah, dude, it definitely is. And, you know, I guess you could call it riding their, you know, their tail or their coat or whatever, and that's fine. People want to talk crap about, you know, riding other bands, you know, in their shadow.
That's how
or whatever.
Business works.
Yeah, you have. I was about to say that, man. They've done it. Iron Maiden done it. You know, everybody done it. You have to. Bands help other bands, you know. And if I can use this to help me advance, then I will. I'll give all the credit to them, you know, because they've helped me a lot. In the last 2 weeks, man, I've learned so much about the industry because, like I said earlier, now with them, I'm at a higher level of the industry than I was at Framing the Red, whereas I was doing everything manage-wise. Well, now they have managers and such, blah, blah, blah. I'm learning a lot more now than I did before with Framing the Red in 2 weeks. And I was with Framing the Red for 5.5 years, wow. You know. I'm telling you, you learn so much, man. Like, they've had issue after issue, problem after problem and stuff, and it's getting to where now, dude, I've learned, man, it's easier. I guess it's maybe not easier, but it's more beneficial if you can do it on your own. You know, that's what if I could tell any musician, man, like, just do it yourself, dude, because like they're not trying to find no big, huge record label. That's what Jason just told me that a few minutes ago. He said, I'm not shopping a label. All I want to do is make a good living playing good songs, you know, and that's what they're doing. Yeah. You know, they make a good living. Yeah. A lot better than I was. You know, it's about to get loud again. Yeah, so definitely. So, yeah, we can walk outside if y'all want to.
So how
half
did
smoked cigarette right there too. You can have, man. Anyway,
the Hometown Throwdown, how'd that go down?
man, it was good. We had fun. It was definitely a good last show for me and Framing the Red. The ticket sales were like half of what we expected. I don't know what happened. I planned it this year around income taxes and after Christmas and stuff, so I really don't know, man, because our first year I had over 800 some of the tickets. Last year I hired Saving Abel and we had like 550, and then this year we had like 3 or something, man. Which, I mean, the families each got like $3,000 a piece or something like that, which we were trying to give like 10 a piece or something. But I mean, no complaints, man. It was fun, nice big huge stage, light show, blah blah blah. I had a lot of my hometown people. I mean, it was really fun. I had my little girl on my side the entire show.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, dude, it was really cool, man.
Right on.
Definitely. I'm glad. There was some times, man, like I was wondering if I was going to be able to make it until February the 13th. I'm not going to lie to you, because it got bad. I mean, and we're still now in some financial debacles right now, fighting me and the singer but I just stuck it out, dude, just because I wanted to end in my hometown, and I wanted to do the Hometown Throwdown, and it just felt like not they, but he was just trying to make it as hard as possible for me to stay there, because, dude, I have a temper, and he knows that. Yeah. He was just, I feel like he was waiting to like the right time to get me to hit him or something, or he could put me in jail or some crap. That's just what I think in my mind, because just the way it was going down, dude, it was just every little button that he knew to push, he was pushing it daily, But, like I said, I stuck it out, and it was for the best, definitely.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Is it one of those things where, like, February 14th, you felt like a weight was lifted off?
Oh, whenever I sat that guitar down, dude, it was like the day I said I was going to quit. It was just like, what? Because that day I told him I'm not booking another show. I'm not doing any more management. I'm not doing any of this, man, because I've been doing it for 5 years, and I'm not getting paid anymore. While they decided to, get high and get on the bus and play music, that's all they did. While I'm in the background doing all this, I'm not trying to like hold myself up or nothing, but that's just how it was.
You're in the trenches taking grenades,
dude. And I'm the one getting all these phone calls from venues and radio and all, and they're not. Going over my data every month, having to pay extra money because I'm managing the band from my phone and stuff. Like leaving my kids. None of them have kids. And it was just a slap in the face, man, because like once I decided to quit, then all of a sudden, I guess because they knew they had to start doing something, here they are on Facebook making all these Facebook posts and reaching out to our fans and radio. I'm like, man, if y'all would have been doing this for the last 5 years, we would be selling this place out, because I really believed in Framing the Red, man. I wouldn't have went through all that hell if I didn't. But if they all would have put in, 25%, like all bands do. Every one of those guys up there in Drowning Pool have a job every day. They all do something for that band to make them progress, and that's why they're successful. And dude, Framing the Red now, dude, is just dropping back, man. They got a new guitar player and now a new album if it ever decides to come out, and they're wanting to do an acoustic tour. That's the stupidest thing in the world, my personal opinion. You don't do that, man. Whenever you put out a new album and a new guitar player, you go balls to the wall.
Push that shit.
Hell yeah, dude. That's what, again, Drowning Pool, they released a single, recorded an album, released a single, went on tour, and they're pushing the hell out of it. And it's helping, man.
Yeah.
Definitely is, man.
Well, do you know on that, are they using your guitar parts on the new album, or are they doing them all?
Yeah, they're doing they're keeping the 9 songs that I recorded. And the new guy, he came in and done another song, or maybe 2. I don't know. There was rumors it was going to be an 11th song. I really don't know. I don't talk to him that much, but they're using the exact, like, I'm going to get royalties off of that whole second album. I wrote the entire thing, all 9 songs, minus Whiskey and Weed. Jordan stole it from Poison. It's pretty much Every Rose Has Its Thorn, and he changed the words to it, but which is a good song. I'm not going to knock it, but that's the first one that he wrote that did anything. The first album, man, Lay Down Beside Me, This Fight, and Country Band, man, nobody in the band now had anything to do with. None of them. Jordan recorded it, that was it. He didn't write a word, he didn't make any music to it at all. The bass player wasn't even around, the drummer wasn't even around, and then we have Folsom Prison Blues on the album. So that's 4 songs off the first album, which is now cover songs if you think about it.
Right.
Because none of those guys wrote those songs.
Yeah, they really
3 of
are.
them were mine. So, and I'm going to make money off of those too.
Yeah.
It's kind of chilly out here.
Well, I saw a post about said you were going to a festival in Mexico. But I didn't see Drowning Pool, and I was
No,
like, is he
they're not on it, dude. The other day we were in LA and I met this chick that was there and at the bar, whatever, and she's just like this rock and roll chick or whatever. Let me see if this is forward. Anyway, like this rock and roll chick, whatever, and was like, I just met her there and we started talking, and we got to talking on Facebook and stuff, and she just invited me because she's a merch girl for this band, and said they were doing a huge festival in Mexico City, like all expenses would be paid. I could just help her do merch or whatever. I'm like, yeah, cool. Well, then I started looking at it, and it's got like 50 bands. It's a huge deal.
Nuts, yeah.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. It's like, yeah, I mean, if I'm free and available, I'm going to go.
Have you ever been down there or anything like that?
I've been to Mexico for a vacation, like on a cruise or whatever. But no, I've never been to Mexico City or nothing like that. Yeah, dude, I'm definitely want to go. But what I'm hoping, man, is Drowning Pool's about to do an overseas tour, and they're trying to see if they can get any crew to go. I would like to go with them.
Yeah.
But it's it's very highly doubtful. That I would like to do that, but I don't know if it's going to happen.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some cost in that.
Oh yeah, it is. I don't know that they can even take any crew or nothing like that. That would be cool. But yeah, they're doing Sturgis this year, man. They've got a lot of big shows coming up. After this tour's over I think this tour ends on the 18th of March, I believe. And they have a couple of different shows, booked spot shows here and there. But like I said, they're in talks to doing an overseas tour and come back to the States and doing another one. I'd like to work with them as much as I can.
Yeah.
But I can't afford to just sit at home and not do nothing. So I'm gonna be looking and writing and stuff like that. While I'm at home. I'm gonna go home and take a much needed break, dude. I got off the stage at Hometown Throwdown, woke up at 6 o'clock the next morning and drove 21 hours to North Iowa and got on the bus with them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
It was crazy, man. But it's the only way. I didn't want them to have to come out with a plane ticket to fly me in and stuff. And my girlfriend at the time, she lived in Iowa, so I just drove back with her and my little girl, so it worked out, long drive.
Yeah, I bet.
We mentioned your daughter was at the Hometown Throwdown. Was that the first time she had seen you live?
Oh, no, dude. She's been to a bunch of shows, man. Like every time we do a Hometown Throwdown, she's there. She's been to a Kansas City. Actually, the Kansas City show that she went to 2 months ago was my final straw with Framing the Red. She got on the bus and they were doing some crap in there that I didn't agree with, and I kind of lost it. That was the last one that she's been to. And Drowning Pool has a show in Baton Rouge, which is an hour and 15 minutes from my hometown. So, and it's all ages. Thursday, and she's going to come. Her mom's going to bring her.
Oh, that's cool.
She's going to come to that. So she's going to sit side stage with me and stuff too. So, and she's into this thing now. She makes bracelets for everybody.
Yeah.
She made everybody in the band and crew a bracelet. So she's
cool.
like, and she don't even know she's getting to come. She has no clue she's coming to see me. Her mom's going to check her out of school and stuff. So it's going to be pretty cool. But yeah, she's a huge supporter, dude. She knows every word to every song that we've ever written, even the bad ones. And her mom hates it and stuff. But she's a big supporter. She hates me being gone, man. I have a 3-year-old too, but she just don't get it yet. She don't really understand. But my 8-year-old, dude, she's going to be a little rocker one of these days. She's going to be a singer or something. She plays guitar, she sings and stuff like that. So, yeah, she'll be in the music industry one of these days.
There you go.
I meant to ask earlier, but I forgot. Was the Hometown Throwdown something you are going to continue to do with other bands?
Yeah, man. Me and the guy Brandy Davis at home, we started this just to be a rock show, but then. Long story short, I saw a little kid on Facebook that was suffering from a bad tumor. He had cancer and stuff, and something told me like, this is what you're doing this for, And when I did that, man, it blew up, And every year we did it for a sick kid in the community. And then me and Brandon got to talking, like, are you going to keep wanting to do this? And just because I left Framing the Red doesn't change the fact that I can still use rock and roll to raise money for a sick kid in my hometown. There's always going to be somebody that needs help. Always. And why? I think it'd be kind of like self-centered to me, I guess, or greedy or whatever if I just quit doing it just because I'm not in a band. And I may be in a band that's established by next year. I don't know. We may play it, but if I don't, then it's not going to be a big deal. But Framing the Red will not play it, though. I'll promise you that. You can put that on your interview. They will not play it.
Right on.
I'll be honest with you.
That's all we want. Honesty.
Yeah. I'm not trying to just rag on people and stuff, man, but it's just to where I poured 5.5 years into that band, dude, and it's just like now it's just so much disrespect now, and like to me it's just like walking up to my kid and slapping them in the face. All the time that I took away from them, even at home, dude, I'm constantly on my phone, constantly sending emails, so I'm never really home like they were. They would go home and sleep until 2 p.m. and and get to hang out with their wives and girlfriends or families or whatever. And I got to see my kid, but I'm still booking shows. The show must go on. So I had to keep doing it, and they sure as hell wasn't going to do it, obviously. But now they are, because their meal ticket went away. So now they're having to do it, and it's falling apart, dude. I hate it because, dude, I love that band so much. I believed in the songs. I've got Framing the Red on my body for the rest of my life. But I don't regret, anything really, because I got to live my dream. But I just wish that they would have got off their ass, a year or so ago and started doing what they're doing now, because there's no telling where we would be, man. No telling at all. So, and the fans are seeing everything, and they're dropping like flies, dude. Like I said, I hate it, man, because I wanted the band to keep going, and plus, the further they go, the more money I'm going to make. I guess if you look at it in that aspect, the more albums they sell, the more money I'm going to make too, but I wanted those songs to keep going because I still believe that some of those songs are, just waiting to be heard by the right person.
Right.
And it may happen one of these days, man. One of those songs may surface and stuff, but I don't know that I could ever get back on the stage with Jordan again. I don't think I could. It will be really hard, But hell, Axl Rose just got back together, so stranger things have happened. Shit, yeah, dude.
For anybody.
Hell yeah, man. You never know, man. You never know what the future's gonna hold. I never thought I'd be here at Drowning Pool talking to y'all again, about this. So
that's cool, though. That's cool.
Hell yeah, dude. I love it, man. Love it.
Well, we appreciate you taking the time to talk to us again.
Yeah, y'all about to get ready to do CJ next, huh?
Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. What another honor, y'all are interviewing me, then turning right around and interviewing CJ. Like, it's a big deal to me, like I never will get, I always stay humble, have to. So, it's cold.
Yeah. Well, thanks, man.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Jamie Welch, formerly of Framing the Red, currently working with Drowning Pool for the immediate and I think near future, at least on this tour, and he said he'd find out what happens in the future. Might be looking to start a new band or, work with Drowning Pool again next time they go on tour, maybe.
Yeah. And here's something that I just remembered. You know how they said in the last episode that they were Drowning Pool's playing South by Southwest?
Oh, right.
See that flyer for that showcase? It's like Crowbar.
Yeah. The Contortionist.
Yeah. Drowning Pool. All in the one show, all these other bands. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that's one hell of a metal lineup. It was the E1.
Yeah.
The E1 showcase for their heavy bands.
Yeah, and if you're in Austin, go see that shit.
Yeah, and speaking of Crowbar, we had Kirk Winstein on the podcast a while back. Another guy that's totally great to talk to, very, very down to earth. Badass musician, and they've got a new album coming this year. Looking forward to.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
But getting back to this thing, I'm sure you noticed halfway through the audio changed a little, but it didn't. I listened back before we recorded this just so I knew that, it sounds great on both ends.
Cool.
We recorded it inside, and then we stepped outside because the opening act was starting.
And then some guy asked us where you go smoke.
Right.
And I think we told him. So that's all on there.
But, yeah, like we said earlier, very transparent interview. Doesn't hold any punches back on any of that stuff. And like you said, we dig Framing the Red. That's why we looked him up in the first place, to be on the podcast originally. But anyway, check us out. Like I said earlier, thethunderunderground.com. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Periscope. All that stuff. You can find it all on the website, and you can find all our past podcasts. on there as well. You can find him on soundcloud.com/thunder-underground. We've had, like we mentioned, Crowbar, Battlecross. Our second time now with Jamie.
Yeah.
CJ from Drowning Pool. We've had Joey Allen from Warrant. We had the drummer for Europe. We've had people from Insight, Miss May I, King Shifter. The list goes on.
Yeah.
I'm drawing a blank. Scattered Hamlet.
Yeah, then we get into some local guys. Rocket Science, Driver. Severmind. Oh, yeah. I mean...
Speaking of that, later this week, we've got Cody Slane from Blackwater Rebellion out of Tulsa. He's also in Scorn, which is out of Fayetteville, Arkansas.
Yeah, and that was a good one. It was really cool to talk to him.
Yeah, that'll be here in just a few days, episode 47. And then next week, we've got Lenny Lashley, who is in the band Darkbuster, and he's also known for being in the band Street Dogs, which we're both a big fan of.
I'm excited for this episode because I love punk rock. I love my punk rock. Yeah, and I know you do too.
Yeah, and that's one thing we haven't talked a lot about. You know, on this podcast, we've always prided ourselves on the fact that if it's rock or metal or whatever, you know, we'll cover it if it's something we like. Yeah, for the most part. Yeah. It doesn't matter the genre.
So it's really cool to get into some of this, definitely.
For sure. Once again, that does it for episode 46. And until next time...